You ever get the feeling that when you're in a conversation with other Americans, you're lacking in something? There's a conversational flow that they have that you don't have. As good as you may think your American accent is, you feel that there's that one element that's missing to make you sound authentic. Well, in this video, I'm going to show you the one trick that I tell all of my accent reduction students to do on a daily basis to give you that authentic American accent edge. Hey there, I'm Gabriel Barafato from GB Voice Academy, your accent reduction instructor to get you that much closer to mastering the American accent. If you haven't yet, subscribe to my YouTube channel so you get access to all of my practice videos. You can also check out my 5-star best-selling accent reduction course, as well as my other communication courses that I left the links below for you. Now, what is the one thing that will accelerate your ability to learn the American accent? Think about it. Immersion. When you are around people who speak a certain language or accent that you want to learn, if you're around them 24 hours a day, when you go to work, when you're in the subway, when you're buying coffee, without you trying, you're going to learn it faster. So clients of mine who live in the US do a lot better in mastering the American accent because they're constantly around people with American accents. It's in their face all the time. Of course they're going to do better. But what happens with clients who are not in the US? You got to work harder in other ways. They have to do something called shadowing. Shadowing is when you hear, you repeat, but not just how it sounds. The rhythm, the flow, the pitch. You're thinking, yeah, it's no problem, I can do it anytime. But there's a fine art to it to make it much more effective. Because like in my accent reduction course where I teach you specific American sounds and how to be able to recall them physically over and over as you need them, there's a fine nuance on how to deliver these sounds. And you hear it when you watch Americans speak or when you watch a movie or a TV. There's humor. There's words you emphasize, words you don't emphasize. There's pauses. All these little micro changes within the American accent that give you that authentic edge that a lot of people just miss. And unless you're in the American culture, you're going to miss out on it. So let me now show you how to do this and how often to do it. As a lot of my YouTube viewers probably already know, I'm also an actor. I've performed on Broadway and several TV shows here in the US, and it's this particular art form that has allowed me to really be able to express and teach the art of this particular language. So what we're going to do is, because of copyright reasons, I can't use other people's footage. I'm going to use my own personal footage of TV shows that I've been on to teach you the art of shadowing. And stick with me because at the end I'm going to tell you how often to do it, what specific TV shows you should be focusing on. So let's look at this TV show that I was on, NCIS, where I played a pilot captain. And I want you to pay attention to the phrases. I'm going to be pausing and we're going to be repeating it, but we're going to be focusing on the inflection and the pauses that give it that American edge. Pay very close attention. It's a software package that upgrades the F-35's electronic warfare capabilities. Now, what's the first thing you notice about that first phrase? It's super fast, but that's the tempo that I had to bring it at to make it sound authentic. And I've said this in other videos, there's an art form to break down this speed by slowing it down first. So imagine we're saying it, but all of a sudden we're slowing it down so we can match those patterns. And then all we have to do is put up the speed on it and put it in real time. So let's break this down. Slow. It's a software package that upgrades the F-35's warfare capabilities. So do you notice that I was emphasizing certain words? It's a software package that upgrades the F-35's warfare capabilities. So I'm emphasizing software package that upgrades the F-35's warfare capabilities. If I were to just say that, I could sum up this whole sentence. So if we slow it down and really dive into those words, it makes more sense. Let's do it again, slow, and then we'll speed it up. It's a software package that upgrades the F-35's warfare capabilities. And you notice also that there's a flow in pitch. It's a software package that upgrades the F-35's warfare capabilities. So if I were to do a graph, it kind of starts here and then it eventually goes down. Versus a straight line. It's a software package that upgrades the F-35's warfare capabilities. no emotion. So think of breaking down sounds with beats, pauses, breaths, and pitch. So let's do it again, a little more in real time. It's a software package that upgrades the F-35's warfare capabilities. Good. Now, because this is a drama, there's really not a lot of inflection. I'm going to be showing you a comedic clip later to show you the big difference. In comedic dialogue, there's a lot more tone, there's a lot more range, and bigger pauses. Versus in drama, like in this, it's a little more fluid. It's like a train that never stops. And once it's going, it's going. So this is what I mean by the art of shadowing. I'm using this as an example, but you would look at dramatic TV show and a comedic TV show. This is an example of a dramatic TV show, because there are different nuances that you're going to see. Let's go on to the next part of the scene.
It's not the most elegant analogy, but this plane is basically a flying computer.
Again, we start off here, we end up here. Not as big as if it was a comedic scene. Nonetheless, we're still starting higher pitch, ending up lower pitch. For example, it's not the most elegant analogy, but this plane's basically a flying computer. This shift between high and low is smaller in drama versus comedy. Good, now let's slow that down and try to find the rhythms. It's not the most elegant analogy. That's what we're talking about. He's going to be creating an analogy here. But this plane is basically a flying computer. One more time, a little faster, with that pitch down, emphasizing those words we're talking about. Remembering the flow. It's not the most elegant analogy, but this plane is basically a flying computer. If you want to look at more of these scenes and others, you could check out my other YouTube channel, which is my acting channel, where I have scenes, monologues that you could see of things that I've done. And you're going to notice that they're all different depending on the genre. If it's dramatic or if it's comedic, we have different inflections. And the beautiful thing about American TV is that there's a huge variety of stuff for us to watch, to shadow, to listen, pause, repeat. That's going to set up the road for you to now be able to navigate through the flow of sound. Because remember, it's all about going from one American sound to the next. That's the thing that a lot of accent production instructors miss. Anybody could repeat after me: cat, car, fur. Sure, we could master those words. But how do you master the flow between each sound? The cat has a lot of fur in the car. There's a flow from one sound to the next. And my particular technique, the course I teach, link below, focuses on that, on the dance, the flow between one sound to the next. And that's exactly what shadowing does. When you look at movies with Tom Cruise or anybody else, you have the best actors delivering dialogue that was written by the best writers in Hollywood. It's given to you for free. It's all over the internet. And I'm telling you, it's going to expedite your mastery of the American accent by practicing this now. Let's flip this and work on comedy. A little more of a emphasized difference between pitch and pauses, and you're going to see exactly what I mean. Let's move on to another scene where I do just that.
Honey, can you please business more quietly? I'm trying to dad nap.
Good, now this was a lot of fun. I love doing comedy because it's all about the rhythm. In the real world, we're not on a sitcom or TV show, but often you're going to notice that when Americans talk, they're often very funny. And if you want to be a part of that, you have to know how comedic timing works. Now let's look at this little clip that I just did here. So let's look at the direction. Can you please business more quietly? So we're starting here, ending here. And what word are we emphasizing? Please. Can you please business more quietly? Pretty straightforward, right? Now, do you notice that there's a big pause that I put there purposely myself? Why? Because the punchline was coming up. So in order for that punchline to really resonate, I had to give it more of a pause. Pause. I'm trying to dad nap. It wouldn't have worked if I said, can you please business more quietly? I'm trying to dad nap. That joke would have went right over somebody's head. This subliminally tells people, wait a minute, something's coming. I'm trying to dad nap. See how that works? You often hear this in conversations with people. Yeah, so I saw this movie last night with Ted and it was terrible. You see that quick shift from positive to the movie was a piece of crap. That was the funny. The bigger the shift, the funnier the punchline. Let's look at this other moment that I do here. And I want you to pay close attention to this one.
Can you nap in our bedroom?
That's just for nighttime sleep. God!
I don't want you to start having a fit like I did there. Of course, I had to exaggerate for TV, but let's break this down as well. That's just for nighttime sleep. Gosh! I'm emphasizing nighttime sleep. I'm emphasizing gosh. That's just for nighttime sleep. Gosh. Doesn't match. Doesn't work. In comedy, we really have to be crystal clear. Now, what I did there was a sitcom, multicam sitcom. You see this a lot in American TV, and this is something I recommend you watch, whether it's Friends, whether it's Frasier, or whatever is out there right now. I would always recommend doing multicam comedy, like what you saw. In other words, things that are filmed in the studio. Because that stuff, it's really tight comedic moments, and they really emphasize timing. So I want you to find a TV show that you enjoy, that brings you joy, and I want you to shadow that as well. Pause, find the inflection, find the direction. What words are they emphasizing? How big are the pauses? Listen, repeat. Do that for half an hour a day. And I'm telling you, that along with the other things I teach about pronunciation, it's really gonna give you that edge. You'll be able to really converse and dive into conversation with other Americans and really be in that authentic space without feeling awkward, without feeling like an outsider. It takes work, it takes practice. And that's why I created this YouTube channel for my clients and for my viewers. All of these resources to help you get that much closer to mastering the American accent.